Good afternoon, everyone. So today I'm going to be reviewing a kayak and comparing the two of them. The kayak I'm reviewing is a Perception Outlaw 11.5, and I'm going to be comparing it to my Bonafide ss107. So if you haven't seen the video on the Bonafide, please check that out. I did it a couple weeks ago. So the Perception is the Outlaw 11.5. My buddy just picked it up and he let me take it out for a couple hours and try it out. So it's obviously 11.5 feet long. It's a foot longer than the Bonafide. It's a good bit wider. I didn't expect it to be as wide as it is. So it's I think 2 or 3 inches wider than the Bonafide. It sits a little lower. But if you look here at the back, you can see how they're both a similar hull design. I guess you'd call it a catamaran hull. But the Perception actually has the catamaran style hull more outward towards the rear, and it's also wider in general. So the Perception is actually more stable than the Bonafide. I did not expect that. It's more stable and it actually tracks better. So up front here we have the grab handle. It's a very big molded in grab handle. I don't know if I really like it as much as the actual handle it's on the Bonafide, but it works very well. This slot here is actually, you slide the blade of the paddle in here to hold that. Coming back, it does not have underdeck storage like the Bonafide does. It just has this kind of mesh cover over this area, where now we just have a life jacket in it. Coming back, we have 3 already put in ram mounts, and I believe this one he's going to put in a ram mount for a fish finder. Coming back from that, you have a nice large wide open floor area. On the Bonafide you have the dry storage box in the middle. Now, the Perception does not have any dry storage at all. I do not like that. I don't like the lack of underdeck storage and the lack of dry storage because, well, I like to have a place to put my phone and wallet. The Perception has these rails for rod holders or whatever you want further back towards the seat than the Bonafide does. That's nice. I do like that. The seat itself is, again, a raised foldable seat, much like the Bonafide, but on the Perception it's a little bit lower and you can't adjust it. So I wish it was a little higher, and I wish it was adjustable, but since it's not, well, it'll be okay. Right beside the seat on both sides you do have cup holders. I wish the Bonafide had the cup holders. That's very nice. And these little tray things right next to the seat. It's very handy. Now the Bonafide, as you know, has this tray underneath. You just loosen that and you pull your tray out, and you can have your tackle boxes, pliers, whatever you want in there. The Perception does not have a tray that slides out. It just has kind of a under storage area. So right behind the seat you have 2 rod holders on each side that are angled back a good bit, as you can see, which is nice. It keeps the rods out of your way so you don't risk snagging them on a back cast. The rear storage area here is a lot shallower than on the Bonafide. It's a little bit wider, but it's definitely shallower. I wish it was deeper, but it's not too bad. So, like I said, the Perception, it sits a little lower in the water, or it doesn't sit lower in the water. You sit a little closer to the water, and it is more stable. You can actually stand up and walk around on it. Whereas the Bonafide, you can stand up and fish very comfortably, but I wouldn't walk around on it. Now, if I was fishing strictly lakes or saltwater flats, I might actually go with the Perception over the Bonafide because it is more stable and it tracks better. But the Bonafide, because I go down rivers and get in tight water, it's more maneuverable, it's a little bit shorter, and it's better in general in rivers. The Bonafide is actually heavier than the Perception, by a good bit, because it is made out of thicker material. So I do like that about the Bonafide. Now, the kicker is the price. The Perception is $300 cheaper than the Bonafide. And given what features it has, I would say it is a great beginner's kayak for anybody that's wanting to get into kayak fishing. I guess you could just get some dry bags for your goods and whatnot. The lack of under-deck storage is kind of annoying because you can't put a lot of things under there if you were going to go on an overnight trip or something like that. But overall, the Outlaw is very good. I'd say they're two very comparable kayaks. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. And for the money, the Perception is very, very good for the money.